Live on this Wednesday afternoon, and I am fired up because we are going to do one of my most favorite things, and that is doing deep dives on people's businesses. And in this case, we are going to be diving into some Etsy shops. I'd say about a month ago, I threw it out there, and I think it was in the Facebook group, and I said, hey, who wants a free Etsy shop audit, a review, a growth strategy? We are going to be doing these. Debbie and I have been doing these for some of our students that have basically upgraded on one of our classes, and we've been doing these, and we really enjoy them. They're just a lot of fun, but they're also very, very educational, I find, from a lot of people. So many people say I love these because I learn so much by hearing you go through these. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be sharing with you guys 3 Etsy shops. I've already gotten their permission. Part of the deal was I was needing to be able to share the shop itself in order to do these, right? And then we want to be able to, from there, do a deep dive. And really, Debbie and I are going to take these, deconstruct them a little bit, but also maybe do a little bit of like niche stacking, as we call it, where we can kind of drill down a little bit deeper. But I'm super excited. Debbie, I know you're super excited.
Super excited.
Are you excited?
I am excited. I was excited about the response that you received on that. Like, I think we had over 100 shops.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, we had a bunch. We had a bunch. And we did handpick these because we wanted these, and we'll do a few more because we still have some that I think would make really good Etsy shop audits. Right. And guys, what we're looking for is really what has somewhat potential, right? That isn't just jumping on a trend and trying to do the t-shirt, like just go ahead and find the, or trademark stuff. Like some people had some stuff that was like trademarked and stuff. Like we're not going to touch that. But we had a lot of people submit these, and it was awesome. And we'll do it again. We'll definitely do it again. Yeah. We love doing this. We're actually doing another one of these for our paid class this afternoon. We're going to be doing one, but it'll be a little bit even deeper because we're going to be pulling up theirs, getting some feedback back and forth and stuff. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. I know Chris Schaefer is here. I don't know if he's 100% with us. Is he with us? I see him. Yes, he is. He's got his earphones on now. Chris, are you officially here now?
I think I am. I've been standing here 15 minutes trying to get my Bluetooth to work. And I went, well, I guess we just got to go old school. Reset my computer twice. It says, hey, your Bluetooth's turned on. And it's not. So you guys can deal with the big old earmuffs today.
I like that.
But I can hear you. Thanks. I guess I'll go get a suit while I'm here. But yeah, man, I love seeing these shop audits come in, and I love seeing how active this community is. Scott, you and I were talking about this the other day. It is mostly still a beginner community. But the one thing that I've noticed with people who are looking into the Etsy thing, maybe you've been selling on Etsy a little while, is that everybody really is there to help each other, which is something that's really cool. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to do this today, was to just give back a little bit more than we're already doing, right? And say, hey, here's what we're seeing. Here's what we're not. This is what's happening in between. And I wanted to give a shout out to everybody that's hanging out with us, because you guys are the ones that are giving us the inspiration to keep doing this. And Scott, I know we now have a goal of every time we go live. It was given to us by a viewer last week who said she keeps telling her friends, right? And every time she says that they need to watch it because it's the best one, the next one's the best one yet. That's now our motivation moving forward, y'all.
Totally.
So
that's a lot of pressure.
I know, right? But that's why we're here. There's now 3 of us here today, right? Instead of Debbie hanging out in the comments with us, just so that we can try to give you guys as much value and show you what's working and what's not in the real world, which a lot of times, I know we talk theory, we talk some of those kinds of things, but today we're showing real world examples of what is working, what's not, and the changes that we would make if there are any.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and guys, if you are on here live, or if you are even watching this on the replay, or if you're on the podcast, doesn't matter. If you guys want to submit your shop for a potential future Etsy audit, then go ahead and submit it. Either message me personally, Scott Volker, on Facebook. You can do Debbie Ann. You can do Chris Schaefer, or you can send us an email. And that could be sent to support@brandcreators.com and just put in Etsy audit potential. Or something like that, or just Etsy audit. And we'll, now these audits that we're doing are going to be, like I said, we're going to try to do these a little bit quicker than we normally do them because I want to get 3 of them in. Usually Debbie and I sit down for about 25 to 30 minutes and we do a deep dive. So we're going to go through these kind of fast, but you're going to at least be able to hear how our thought process is and what we're looking for, and also brainstorming with all 3 of us here together. So just understand that. So if you are at all interested, yeah, just let us know. You can even put it in the comments and we can reach out to you. All right. And again, these here that we're doing are free. We do also offer these as a paid service. So if you're interested in those as well, go ahead and just reach out to us and we can let you know more details on that. All right, cool. Chris, are we ready then? Is the tech stuff working now? Am I actually coming through? Are we good to go?
Everything on the cloud side of things appears to be working. So we'll figure out Bluetooth stuff later, but everybody can see and hear us. We're seeing hello, me, hello, hello. We're getting questions on YouTube already. So it looks like we're ready to rock. And guys, as always, if you have any questions along the way, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or you're listening on the podcast, right? Obviously, you can't live chat us a question if you're listening on the podcast, but you can shoot those to support@brandcreators.com. If you're on with us live, whatever channel you're watching us on, as soon as that pops into your head, drop it in the chat. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth. And if we have a little bit of time left at the end, we may address some of them live here with you guys as well.
Can I just say one thing before we start?
Yeah.
I notice a lot of people share their shop links in groups, and that's not a great idea. For one, you really don't want to expose your shop to a whole group. And also you're getting unsolicited clicks, and it's just not good for your Etsy shop overall, because people will go click and you're going to get the visits and they're not buying. So, share it privately if you want with, one of us or, a friend that you might have in the group, but don't share them in groups.
Yeah. And I would say also on something like that is like, if you are sharing it, like these people here are sharing these with us, but we are sharing it with a community of people that I believe are there to help one another to, and yes, you might get some people that are going to click over there, but I would say when you're doing that in just these random groups that you're just getting this unsolicited feedback, a lot of times you're just not going to get the best feedback.
Right.
So I would just hold off on that. If you have questions about certain areas, then yes, maybe. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. So I'm going to go ahead and add my screen here, and you can see that beautiful thumbnail that I made that I worked so hard on. And if you guys are listening to this podcast, you can't see it, but I spent a lot of time on that. My thumbnails, I'm actually having a fun time with my thumbnails on YouTube. So if you guys have been a YouTube subscriber, actually guys, if you are on YouTube and you have, came through on one of these videos, let us know that you're on YouTube and you're actually, you're digging the videos. So let us know that. All right, cool. So we're going to get moving along here. So, okay, I'm just going to open it up and dive right in. So this email came in from Tamara. Now I'm not going to read every email that came in, but I did want to let you know just to kind of see where they are coming from. Okay. So basically said, I would really love to have you review this shop, and I'm open to your honest feedback and critique. Currently, this is a side gig, which I want to turn into a full-time income. Now, the other thing that Tamara said here was that they're focusing on the garden niche. Okay. Now, we all know I've talked about the garden niche. Everyone talks about the garden niche, and I still think there's opportunity in the garden niche. Okay. You just have to find that one area to get started and then start building some momentum. And just remember, competition is out there, but competition is really there when you're just creating mediocre or just copy and pasting some graphics or creating something in Canva and not putting a lot of time and effort into it, or at least creativity into it. Understand that competition really doesn't matter if you have a design or if you have a product that other people can't really copy legitimately. Okay. So just understand that. So that's why I say, like, yeah, you can go in the garden niche if you want to. You just have to find an angle, get yourself in the door, and then start creating decent, good, creative designs and put them on products that people are buying. Like that's it. So that's it. I just wanted to just kind of throw that in there. It is in the garden niche, and they're using Printify, T-Launch, and Printed Mint. And I have sub-niched a bit for now with focus on frogs. I like that, by the way. I like that we're focusing on one area. I am currently at 6 sales, but seem to be at a standstill yet again. Now, this was sent in about probably, close to 30 days ago. So I wonder how it's doing now, but let's go ahead and take a look. It's Anya's Garden Custom Gifts. All right. Now we have this here. We're looking at the banner. which looks fine, I think. And Debbie, I'd like your thoughts here in a minute. But I'm just going to kind of just go through here and see what I'm seeing at first glance. If you guys are listening, you can't see. I'm just scrolling through her shop and I'm seeing, let's see here. I see some shirts. I see, let's see here, wrapping paper that has some strawberries on it. I have a boho floral tote bag, gardening lover, little tote bag, another tote bag with some frog or a frog on it. Grandma's garden with some, looks like mason jar type of drawings. Then we have MILF, man, I love frogs, which by the way, MILF is also meaning something else nowadays, which I just learned that the other day. And it's kind of crazy, but I'm not going to get into that. We're going to talk about the ones with frogs. We're going to go there. We have rugs. Love grows here. We have a little mat that goes in front of the door. We have some boots with the frogs on it. We have tumblers. So this is, I mean, this all looks pretty good. And it does look like they're targeting frogs for the garden. And it looks like mushrooms because the mushrooms are with the frogs. So Debbie, what's your first thought by looking at this shop?
Well, if she's really going to niche down to frogs, I would probably have that in the banner. Anya's garden, custom gifts, and then, frog niched or whatever, and then show a little frogs in there. Like, I like the florals you have, but lemons, and I think those are gardenias, they really don't, I don't know what I'm getting in that shop. So when I land there, it's not clear.
I think this is good for you and I to have this conversation because you and I did not go over this stuff. So this is a good, this is a great exercise for you guys to kind of pay attention to here. So I'm going to push back on Debbie a little bit and I'm going to say, okay, I like that. Okay. Yes, we're going to target that, but are we still going to be able to open up to sub niches? Because I don't want to just be about frogs.
Right.
I want to be garden stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be maybe gnomes. Right. I want to add those in there. I want to add other garden, maybe like there's actually one that I found that I'll share here in a second, like these little garden doors that go in the garden that people make.
Yeah.
So with that, would you start there and change out the banner as you start to evolve?
Yeah. Or you could put in, frogs, flowers, lily pads, ladybugs, like kind of
I like that.
Incorporate everything into the banner. That way it's open.
Because I'm looking at this and I didn't do all of the research yet, but I would want to go, okay, is there enough demand for just building a garden type shop about, I like frogs? Probably not. And that's kind of where that niche stacking comes in, where we have to start to add these shoulder niches in there. I do have some examples I'm going to be sharing here and kind of showing you guys how I drill down, which I didn't even share these with Debbie when I was putting this together. So this is kind of cool because this is how Debbie and I would be brainstorming. And for those of you that don't know, Debbie and I started a business, 5-6 years ago and ended up building that into a pretty good size e-com business and then sold it. And then we kind of came back after she started working with Etsy. So her and I have had these conversations just privately, and this is kind of how we do it. So yeah, so I just think it's pretty cool for you guys to be able to experience that. Chris, what's your thoughts real quick? Did you have anything you wanted to add in here before I move on?
Yeah, I'd say this is something, and I think Tamara's actually headed in the right direction with the niching down side of things, right? One of the biggest mistakes, and I've gotten maybe 3-4 emails in the last 2 days saying, hey, I'm not making any sales, right? Like I'm kind of doing the niche thing. And you go and you look and you're like, okay, well, they are in cats. Most of this stuff is cats, but it's not a specific breed, right? It's a little general. We're just saying, I love cats. Maybe we should niche it down. And I think she did a great job, at least so far, of saying, okay, I'm going to start one level deeper, right? Because those are going to be the people who buy. I'm not necessarily at a place where I can just put up a black cat shadow pillow thing, right? Because there's too many people there right now and no one knows me. Maybe I should focus on Siamese cats, or what are the big, like ragdoll cats or something like that, right? And she at least has taken it that far, which I'm very glad to see. So as we start to get a little deeper into this, I'm curious how far down that road she's gone. And Scott, did you say she has gotten some sales at this, like 6 sales at this point?
Yeah, it looks like there's 6 sales on the shop as of right now.
Yeah. And do you know when she started?
I think this is a secondary shop. I think she had what we call kind of like a
A
general
garage sale
store.
or a general store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after she started to kind of like listen to our methodologies and stuff, it made a lot of sense. She wanted to start doing this, and that's the direction she's going now. So it's a very young shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But 106 products listed right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like she is a product creation machine.
Yeah.
And again, as we get into this, that's good. But I think 6 sales at this point is pretty good because it sounds like it's a fairly new store. Yes, she's been around for a little bit, so she understands some of the ins and outs. But 6 sales in, what would you say, Scott, 2 months, a month?
Yeah.
It's a good foundation. Now we just have to figure out where those sales are coming in and if we can grow that side of the business, or if we need to niche up, niche down, use a shoulder niche, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So let's move on because I do have some examples here. So this is the first one that I went after here inside of Everbee. Man, I love frogs. All right. So there's 63 results here. Now, I kind of highlighted some things. If you guys are listening, I'll try to describe it as best as possible so you guys can still benefit from the audio of this. But basically what I'm always looking at is estimated sales. So I'm sorting by estimated sales. So this way here, or revenue, either one. And I'm looking at the first one, which is a basic t-shirt, but it's a retro frog t-shirt. And it has MILF on it. Okay. With, it looks like a picture of a frog and a couple of mushrooms. All right. So selling for $19, at least that's what it says here. 432 sales, 8,204 in revenue last month. And then 8 months, the listing has been live and total sales is $34.89. If we go over to where I have the favorites highlighted, I did that because I wanted you to be able to see, I look at that row to really validate a niche. So if we're looking at that, it's been favorited 18,541 times. So when people ask, is there demand for this particular thing? And the answer is, in this case, yeah, there are, right? And that's, to me, that's above average and above normal. I mean, we're talking that it's only been live for 8 months and it's gotten 18,500 favorites. Moving down to the next one, very similar. It looks like a very similar style. And that one is Frog Coffee Mug. And then that one there has, let's see, 240 estimated sales, 4,704 last month, as far as $4,704. It's been active for 3 months. It's gotten 725 total sales. So that 240 was actually for the month. And it's been favorited 2,733 times in, what did I say, 3 months. All right. I have another one that I circled here, or that I highlighted, Framed Cowboy Frog. And that one there is $2,020 in the last 30 days, 101 sales. It's been active for 1 month. Okay. 912 favorites. And then one more that I highlighted, another shirt, Cowboy Frog t-shirt. So do you see, I circled them because I have retro frog t-shirt, framed cowboy frog, and cowboy frog t-shirt. All right. So I have 3 unique different keywords is really what I'm looking at and how people are arriving here. And that last one, by the way, was 91 sales, the last 30, $1,727 in estimated revenue last month, 2 months old, and 181 sales total and 1,560 favorites. So that's the first thing that I did, guys. So I like, okay, going after frogs. Let's go ahead and see what, like, something like what someone would be searching for. And then I found out that MILF is a thing. And then I'm like, man, I love frogs. Okay, let's type that in. Let's see what it brings back. And then I just use Everbee to kind of pull in that data, which, by the way, if you're watching this or listening to this and you're wondering what tool we're using, if you've never heard of it, it's called Everbee. It's a great tool. I know the creator and the owner of Everbee, great guy, Cody. And I'm also an affiliate for it because I believe in it. So if you're interested in trying it for free, you can head on over to brandcreators.com/Everbee and you can try it for free. No credit card required. I believe you get 10 free searches a month. So check it out. Debbie, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you validated it, and that's what we're all about doing. I mean, these numbers are off the charts. So don't think you have to see these kind of numbers to validate something. These just happen to be really popular. Now, my question would be, is this just a trend? Is the MILF going to be gone next week? Like, I wouldn't go make a bunch of MILF products. obviously you want to put your own spin on it. Just based on this, a lot of these graphics look the same to me.
Mhm.
So first thing you want to do is make yours look entirely different. You know, you could use the same color schemes and whatnot, but put your elements together differently. Maybe, you know, the placement of the word MILF, you know, around the mushrooms, just make it totally different. Don't make it like this.
The one thing I want to point out, Deb, is on the one there that says framed cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
That one there is not one of those designs. That's totally different. So that's not even
Okay.
like MILF.
Okay.
It's 101 sales, $2,000 in the last 30, and it's been active for 1 month.
Okay.
So, you know, so we would then go into framed cowboy, but let me show you what I found next here.
Okay.
So this is one that's not MILF. It's Country Toads Take Me Home. So it's kind of like, you know, the old song from, I forget who it was.
Country Road, Take Me
Country
Home.
Road, Take Me Home. Who was that, Chris?
John
Chris, do you know who that
Denver?
was?
John Denver, I think.
John Denver. There we go. So 20 plus people have it in the cart right now. Okay. And it's Cowboy Frog t-shirt is the main keyword. And we also have Funny Western Froggy shirt. What is that? Cottage Core Froggy tee, oversized unisex t-shirt, Toad shirt, Frog Lover shirt, retro tee, right? And then I'm looking at inside of the tags, I'm getting ideas here. Now, if you're looking at, and if you guys are listening, I'll tell you what I'm seeing here. If you see in the tags that there's, according to Everbee, if you're looking at those search volumes, it says 0. Don't pay attention to that. I will say this for Everbee and for every other keyword tool out there, they are basically using data points internally to try to figure out what that is. So that's not perfect. So I would never go off of the search volume that is being reported. What I would do is I would use the tags to see what they're using, because they've probably done some research of what people are searching for. So that's what I would use that for. I wouldn't use it for like, oh, look at that Western t-shirt got 542 searches. I don't care.
Right.
I would go after Cowboy Frog shirt, right? The Cottage Core thing, I've never heard of that. Funny Frog retro, maybe, like stuff like that. That's what I'm doing there, and that's how I'm using this data. But this here, I mean, look at it. It's crazy. It's 2 months old, 1,560 favorites. Let's see here, 34 reviews, total sales 181, 91 sales last month, $1,727. Just this one shirt. And 20 people have it in their carts. So that tells you it's something that people are definitely into for whatever reason.
But we also want to specify too, we don't all want to go out and make shirts. There's more to this. This is just validating that the frog cowboy is a search. Yeah.
You know what? I'm so glad you said that, Debbie, because no, I am not saying that you should go create like a t-shirt company. No. What I'm saying is this is validating that people are searching for Cowboy Frog shirt, right? Or Cowboy Frog. Okay. And that's all I'm looking for. I'm not just looking for it to be a shirt. I'm looking for like people like this thing, right? This Cowboy Frog, right? And I'm trying to validate that there's people that are actually like, some people could probably take this and frame it and put it up into one of their bonus rooms or maybe their pool room or something like that, right? It's something that we could also use for that, but it's something that's also validating that Cowboy Frog is something that's being looked up and that people are purchasing.
Right.
All right. Next one, Garden Gnome. And I think I got that from one of the other tags. I thought it might have been in one of these other ones. I don't know if it was that one. It might have been this one. I saw gnome somewhere and I don't know where I saw it, but when I did, I said, okay, let me do a little bit of research there. But check this out. This is a personalized couple print, custom frog illustration, anniversary engagement, Valentine's gift idea, cute wall decor. These are all the things that are in the title, by the way, but there's 20 of these in people's carts right now. It's 3 months old. It's been favorited 2,228 times, total sales 256, 85 monthly, and 1,664. So what this basically is it's a print, and then they personalize it with the couple. Okay, so it's kind of like an anniversary gift, or a celebration of the two people together gift, right? And then they're personalizing it. If we look at the tags right here, we see boyfriend gift idea, colorful retro print, hippie poster print, retro frog. What else? Girlfriend gift idea, retro frog prints, anniversary gift. So those are the things that people are searching for that could bring them to this. Now, this is not a t-shirt. This is a framed print, or it could be a canvas. So just another idea. But again, I'm validating frogs is what I'm doing. Right. Okay. Let's look at garden gnome. That's where I was before I got ahead of myself. So gnomes, again, I'm thinking garden, right? So garden gnomes, I've seen gnomes in gardens. Like usually if you're a garden person, you might be into gnomes that you can put in your garden, something like that. Well, I'm just looking again once again, I'm just looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the data. I'm looking at Everbee right now. And I pulled the search for garden gnome. There's 69 listings. Out of those, there's a lot of sales. Now, these ones are more realistic than the last one as far as like what you can expect, maybe. And we have 228 sales on a product, 172 on another. This is per month, by the way. 73 on another, 50 on another, 15, 37, and 127, right? That's like the top, what is that? 3, 6, 7. And the revenue ranges from $5,465 a month to $812 a month. Okay. And that one, there's just I think the last one there is like an SVG digital download type thing. So let's just exclude that one. I'm looking at the other one though. It's a professional gnome football thing. And I don't think it's a football where it's teams. It's just basically a set that's representing football. And obviously we would want to make sure it's not trademarked or something, but it's again, just getting ideas that gnomes are selling. Okay. Now, the one thing that I did see here is fairy door, Otis, something another, right? So I got thinking, I'm like, fairy, how about fairy garden? There's probably people into that. Again, we're looking at the garden. We're looking at gnomes. We're looking at frogs. We're like, what else could we potentially kind of sub niche down into and kind of stack some of these together? Well, I found this.
Yeah.
Debbie, this is crazy.
Yeah.
My fairy tale doors. Someone is selling only fairy tale doors for their gardens.
It's a big thing. Fairy gardens. My mom had one, and she loved it. So cute.
So fairy garden, right? Fairy tale garden, outdoor decor.
Yep.
1 year, 4 months old. It's gotten 127 reviews, 7 monthly reviews. It's been favorited 5,409 times. It's got 900 total sales. Estimated monthly sales is 50, and it made $1,200 in revenue in 30 days. So are we going to create door things? Probably not, but I am going to look into fairy tale garden stuff. Right. So we're just validating that type of stuff.
And you can actually make a pillow with a cute fairy door on it.
Totally.
Is it weird that I was thinking coasters?
Or coasters. Yeah.
Like if you're into fairy doors, if you're into that design, yeah, maybe I can't create that as like a wooden door, but I can definitely create what looks like a 3D image fairly easily in Canva of a door, right? And if you're using a coaster, chances are you're putting it on wood anyway. And I know that's not the point, right, of the fairy door, but if you're into that kind of thing, it would be a cute, kitschy thing that you would give to somebody as a gift or that you would buy for yourself as like a conversation piece. So I think even if you can't make those doors yourselves, you can still take 5 minutes, do a little bit of research into what a fairy door is, how is it used in a fairy garden, and then go, okay, maybe I'll just put up the tree with the fairy door and make a pillow, or maybe I'll turn it into a coaster, maybe I'll turn it into a t-shirt, right? Like the fairy door is the door to my heart, something like that.
Yeah.
Forgive the terrible puns, guys, but you understand that these things sell sometimes.
Pretty good, Chris.
Those kinds of things, right? And so even if we don't have the woodworking skills to make something like this, we can take the idea and appropriate it to different products.
Exactly.
Totally. Yeah. But yeah, guys, if this is making sense, if this is helpful, let us know in the comments, please. I think it's helpful because we're actually going through this process live here. So you guys can see the thought process. Like, how did we come from garden, just blank, right? Like garden. And then we came to fairy tale doors in the garden. Like I would have never known that if I didn't go through this process. But if you're noticing what we're doing, we took like a broad niche of gardening. And then we went into, okay, we can go into frogs. We can do mushrooms. Cause I know mushrooms are a thing too, all by itself.
Yep.
Got mushrooms. Then you got mushrooms kind of go hand in hand with fairy tales. So does frogs, by the way,
Mhm.
right? So all of these things start to tie together, and we start to learn more about the market as we start doing this research. And again, I'm looking at the tags here inside of this search that I did in Everbee, and I'm looking at red fairy door, fairy garden, gnome door. There's gnome again.
Mhm.
Miniature. I have fairy tale doors, fairy tale door for trees, gnome again, outdoor decor. So you get, I'm trying to pull out the ones that I didn't think of before, or that might be something that I could look a little bit deeper into.
Right.
So again, just wanted to kind of share this. I think it's really, really a good example of what you can actually do within this niche. So I'm going to pause there for a second. And I know that a lot of people are, I mean, we got over 80 some people on here live with us right now. So this is great. But before I go on, do you want me to continue? That's the question. Do you want me to do the next one? I need some yeses. I need some energy back from you guys, because we're just sitting in a vacuum here, and we want to make sure that we have some energy from you guys and we can keep on rocking and rolling, because I've got 2 more that I'm going to do that we just like we just did, so I can give you guys a little bit more to kind of bite on a little bit, sink your teeth into.
We
I see
need
a
a little
bunch coming in.
sound background of everybody cheering and a
I know,
crowd
right?
like in a football game.
I know, we need that. Like if we were in
We
a
do.
live room, we would have that. And plus I needed to take a sip of water here, but I see a bunch of yeses flooding in here, so that's awesome.
Okay, good.
Cool. All right, Chris, everything rocking and rolling on the tech side? We're good?
We are rocking and rolling. We got tons of people screaming yes on YouTube, over on Facebook as well. And guys, if you are enjoying this, do us another favor. Yes, like comment and stuff. But if you're watching us on the YouTube side of things, the best thing you can do, honestly, is hit the thumbs up button and maybe potentially share it to a friend or two. That just lets other people who are into this stuff know that we exist, right? So if you are getting value, go ahead and smash that. I know it's like a stereotype to ask people to do that, but it does actually help people get to this material, because YouTube goes, oh, people who like this, right? And so it'll push it out to all of your friends and family who are interested in this kind of stuff as well.
Cool. All right. I am going to get back to my screen here, and I've got the next one ready. And this one here came in from, this one here was, I forgot her name now, which is terrible. I'll find it when I go to her shop. Yeah. But here it was, basically thanking us for the opportunity. Open the shop November 15th, 2022, targeting modern art lovers who are practical, since my products are art items you could use at home, but can also be art pieces. I currently have 39 listings, most of which are pillowcases, then blankets, and have recently applied the same artwork to mouse pads, tote bags, then planning to add bath mats next week. That's awesome. The link to my shop gives it. I have run several 7-day sales for all items, selected 2 items to run on Etsy ads, 1 blanket and the other tote bag. Sadly, to date, I still have not a single sale. I was able to have, so Chris, you must have had a little conversation with her and told her to basically continue to just kind of build out the product line. All right, so let's go ahead and dig in. It is, and is it June or John?
John.
That's what I was going to say, but I wasn't sure. Okay, so Sensei, is it Sensei or Sensei?
Sensei.
Like
sensible. Yeah.
That's kind of, yeah. Okay. So sensible home basically is what we're talking about. Has 2 sales, by the way, since the last time that she wrote that. And it looks like it's got 40 total products. Okay, so we have the branding, or the banner. I like the banner myself a lot. Debbie, your thoughts? I know you're big on banners.
Yeah, no, I like it. I really do. I think it looks nice and cohesive and neat, and she's showing her products, and there's nothing I would change there.
Yeah, what I love about this is we're showing off products. We're also seeing faces. So guys, whenever we can add a face in there, I want to add a face. If you're not adding a face, then I want to add products. If I can have both, that's like a perfect world. I love what she did here with actually adding this. I mean, it's subtle things, but like adding this here, you can't see me. I'm using my mouse and you can't see it. But basically in the first column, where she has a pillow, you can see like a coffee table and a rug. So you kind of feel that home kind of feel, right? So I love that. And then we have a girl with a blanket, with one of her blankets kind of sitting there, snuggling a little bit, having a cup of coffee, looking out the window. And then another one is a tote bag of a girl. It looks like getting ready to either go out or whatever. So it looks good.
Yeah.
I also see, and this is the other things that we look at, guys, is like, if we're looking at the logo itself, I think it represents the brand well. So that's good. And then the little profile picture, I think, is great. The only thing I would say is I would want your picture centered in there more. I'm seeing dead space on the right. I would want to see more of your face. Fill that up, and I want to see a smiling face in the profile. So that's what I would want there. Okay. So now the first thing I'm noticing is here what it says as far as your tagline: your one-stop shop of sensible, usable art items for home. Okay. It's very broad. Art is very broad. And I like that you started going after cow stuff, because now we're starting to get a direction. And I think that's what we need to do. Although you might not want to be all about just cows, which I have some ideas here for you. But I think it's a great start. And I think you understand the concept of finding a direction, but yet you're not locked into only that direction. So I absolutely love that part of it. But what I would say is, or I guess, Debbie, what would you say for the tagline?
Well, it definitely looks like a lot of her work is more geared towards boho style. So I would definitely have that under Scentsy Home, boho, home decor, art, and more. Because yeah, your style is definitely gearing towards that. These are great designs, and you want the keyword, and you also wanted under your categories, boho cow pillows. Looks like you have
right
some
here.
Aztec in there.
Right here. Yep.
So all of that, you want to put whatever the item, falls under, whether it's boho or cow or Aztec, have that in your categories, because those are search words.
Yeah, and to clarify, just because I did have a conversation with June, basically his thing is he likes usable art. He doesn't think art should go on a wall. He thinks art and just sit there, right? Like art should be integrated into our everyday lives. And so basically the back and forth that we had was, I get that, that's awesome. We need to pick a style and kind of go from there. And I think it seems like he moved away from some of the more Aztec stuff, because he was kind of all over the place when we talked a few months ago, and is moving more towards that. But I think, there is a way to kind of integrate these things together, right? There is a little bit of overlap between boho, Western, and like, what would you call it, Debbie? Like Southwestern style, right?
Yeah,
like Arizona, New Mexico,
it's
Native American style.
Navajo, that is definitely Bohemian style as well. They had a lot of the, the feathers and the abstract designs. He can definitely sub niche into that eventually. But right now, I think.
Yeah. Well, I love it. I want to apologize. I was calling John a girl. I didn't realize. So I didn't know. And again, the picture's so small, I can't determine that. So I apologize, John. I'm sorry, man. So, all right.
He accepts.
I absolutely love the look and feel of this shop, though. I love the feeling of when I'm opening this up, I'm coming in here, everything is really, really well put together. And I just really want to point out something that I noticed that I know it seems a little bit advanced, but it's really not. And that is, like, when I'm hovering over here, he put videos in there. And these are they're going to be in your second placeholder. So if we go into this listing, I can see here, this is the video. So the video automatically goes here. So, and then just again, I don't see a lot of people creating a lot of images. Like, some people might want to see what it looks like on a lighter and a darker. So easy to do, but so many people don't do it. And I think it's important to fill this stuff in. So I love this. I love the artwork. I think it's really, really cool. And I agree with Debbie. Like, if it's boho, go after abstract, whatever it is, brown, earth, minimalist, chick, modern, mouse, like all of that, if that's what it pertains to. So I do really, really like everything about this. It's clean. I just think we need to do more because 40 isn't really a lot. I think we need to go all in on the cow stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can go into the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really think there's opportunity in the cow stuff. I'm going to show you why I think that here in a second, but I think everything looks really, really good.
I think the design is spot on, right? Like if you were to see these things and you were looking for boho stuff or Western wear stuff, this does stick out to you. And I think John has done a great job with the images. John has done a great job with the listings. And Scott, I wanted to ask you something. So let's say we have an hour a day to work on this shop. And Debbie, I want your opinion on this too. You were just talking, Scott, about how important taking an extra few minutes to do the extra images are. If you're in the place that John is in, would you, if you have, let's say, just that hour, right, to create those extra things, if you're doing this yourself, it's not a ton of time, but maybe it's another 10, 15 minutes to get them all created, downloaded, organized, and uploaded into the listing. Would you rather see that 10, 15 minutes being spent doing that or coming up with another product or design for that day? Does that make sense?
Yeah. What do you think, Deb? What are you doing with only an hour a day on that shop?
Well, since I started, I obviously have beefed up my mock-ups, and now I do go back to some of my original listings that have sold, but I've even more amped up my mock-ups. So, that is a good question, Chris, because, I think we have in our mind, we want to get up as many listings because, we want those sales. But I think if you just start off on the right foot, make the mock-ups good the first time, then you don't have to go back. So, because coming to your shop right now, it is beautiful. It makes me feel at home. And a lot of it is to do with your mock-ups. So keep going. Now it looks like you can start creating some more goods. Also, I noticed you don't have an announcement. So you want a little welcome note to your customers.
Yep. I agree. I think if I've got an hour a day, I mean, the first thing is we just have to tighten some things up. I would do this here. I would make the announcement here. And say who you are, but why you're doing what you're doing, but also to let people know they're in the right place. If you are looking for X, right? That's what you want. In that announcement, not necessarily like buy one, get one free. We don't, people use it for that. I actually thought of using it for that. I did a couple of times too, but I realized that's not the place that I want to put that. I want it to be more of like letting people know that they're in the right place if they're looking for X.
Right.
And then I just think over here, I would definitely just do that as soon as possible. But I think it's the low hanging fruit. I think the low hanging fruit here is really looking at what sells the most. And again, not in your shop necessarily, but what has the most potential and then going all in on that. So I'd go heavy on the cow stuff. And the reason why is because, well, I'm looking at some of the stats here that he had sent me, by the way. He's had 301 views. This was at the time of that. It was all Etsy search, advertising was 16%, Etsy marketing SEO is 5%. So it's kind of split. Direct and other traffic was 48%. But again, it's 301. What I'm looking at is, go ahead.
Scott, I don't mean to derail you, but I do actually have some other just because of the conversation that we had. Yeah. That direct traffic, he posted on his personal Facebook page.
Got it.
The full on link. And so a bunch of his friends and family went to the store when he first launched it, but nobody ended up buying anything. And so to me, that's actually something I would generally caution people against. We do want to send traffic externally to Etsy, right? But if we just post it on our personal Facebook page, unless it's something we know that a bunch of people there are going to like, we send Etsy a lot of confusing signals about who the people are that are going to buy our stuff. And they go, it doesn't matter where the traffic comes from, right? We're not even giving them traffic. It doesn't turn into sales for us. So we're going to try to figure out where to put them in a different way. So if we can avoid that up front, that's probably helpful, whether that directly is in the algorithm or not, right? The less confusing signals we can send to Etsy, the better off we're going to be.
Right.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, so what I'm looking at though is this cow minky blanket adult cow print throw blanket. Like I'm seeing that here. And then I'm looking at this here too. This is again in the search terms. This is kind of what was put in for the search. for the search. So it's cow, 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 right? Like that's what I'm seeing. So I'm like, okay. And you can see here, it seems to tell me anything cow related in blanket is searched. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And this is the performance. So there was some performance stuff that he sent me for that, but we're not going to look into that. What I did want to look at is this cow prints, slippers. Cow slippers are selling.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling really good. 1,601 sales, $30,000 in revenue, 8,000 total sales, 1,445 reviews. It's only been listed for 5 months. Might want to put those prints on some slippers.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I know
60
that-
grand a year.
Yeah. So you have that. This one here, someone else is doing something very similar. Looks like they just tried to copy them. Still, even by copying, look at.
Mm-mm.
There's plenty of demand for slippers. So I would start like thinking about something like in that line of maybe, your cow print. The other thing is here is I'm looking at this. It's a cow print, but it's a tumbler, but it's a different style tumbler. I like it. It's generated $6,200, actually $6,290, 100. That's last month, by the way, 137 sales in a month. It looks like it's 3 mugs. It's a set. So there's different cow. There's like 2 with cow prints, like pink cow prints.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another one with just the name. They're personalized though, $46. That one there, 122 reviews, and it's been selling for 5 months. Another one, cow blanket. So you sell cow blankets. Well, do cow blankets sell? Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's $51, sold $6,221 in the last month, 122 sales in the last month, 628 total sales. It's been active for 5 months. Another one is a cow crew neck sweatshirt. That one has sold pretty well, $95 a month. Another cute cow slippers, another one, but a different design. 344 monthly sales, 20 or sales in last month. Yeah. It says they're only selling for $8. I don't think that's accurate. I think that's probably because what Everbee does is it looks at the first price that's listed. I bet you go in there and then it's like sizes and then it's like $20 or something.
Yeah, the $8 one is like a baby slipper.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Like it's one of those things. Scott, something, and these numbers seem very high. But one thing I don't want people to get to lose here is these are estimated monthly sales, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking like 10 or 12 units a day of one product, right? And that I know, like when Scott says 1,044 a month, that number goes over a lot of people's heads and they're just like, okay, whatever. But if you break that down, it's 30 a day or whatever, right? So I always like to think of those numbers in daily because, Scott, what you and I have talked about is, well, does this niche support your goal, right? Is the niche big enough is a very relative question, and it depends on what you want out of this. If you want to have 2 or 3 products that can make you $30,000 a year combined, then yeah, this might be a really good niche for you. If you want to make it to $100,000 in this niche, Scott, based on what you're seeing, do you think that's possible?
Oh, 100%.
Right. And so, yeah, we'd probably need more than 3 products to do that because we don't have somebody hand sewing cute little cow ears onto our slippers. So we're not going to sell as many as the super adorable ones, but there's still other people buying slippers at, I don't know, what is that? 10 a day, 5 a day, right? 3 a day, 5 a day, 3.5 a day, right? And so that's a very good way to build a business. And John over on YouTube said, that's good enough for me at the beginning. Absolutely. And so when you see something like this is a lot of opportunity, but just because the numbers you're looking at in your niche don't say 1,300 or whatever that top one is, doesn't mean that it won't support your goal. So the word of caution that I want to give to everybody is you don't have to find a niche that has this much opportunity.
No.
But if you find a niche that has this much opportunity and you are at all interested in cow slippers, boho chic, Western wear, then maybe move this one to the top of your list. Because it's going to support your goal pretty much.
What I want to say to that too is it's exactly right. Like you have to decide what your goal is. If your goal is to make $300 a day, then just figure out how many products that is per day. You might only need to sell 10 products a day, right? You don't need to sell 30, right? These are just for us to see demand for this niche. That's what we're really determining at this point. And that's where I would spend my time. I'd spend my hour doing this. And then from there, the next hour, creating designs, and then the next hour putting up product.
Right.
Like that would be it. Like I'd focus, head down. The shop looks great. I'd tweak a couple things, and I just start loading in these types of products that we know have demand.
Well, I think I really like the way you broke that down, which is you don't have to do all of this at once, right? If you have that hour a day, spend today doing the product research, spend tomorrow creating the designs, and spend Friday creating the listings. And then you don't have to worry about picking and choosing and saying, I've got 15 minutes left. What do I do? Today is product research day. I'm just going to focus on that. And then tomorrow I'll design. Friday, I'll create the listings.
All right, cool. I got to get Blaze in here. We're way over our time limit, right? Debbie, we said, oh, what do you think? 30, 40 minutes? Oh yeah, that'll be no problem. Well, we're approaching an hour.
And I just want to mention as well, too, if you notice all these things that we're bringing up today, none of it is trending per se. Like we didn't try to go find a bestseller. We took the niche and we're breaking it down for the demand of it. And then we did happen to find a lot of hot sellers in it. So
yeah, 100%. I think that's great. And actually, you know what? I think it's a good time to take a little pause here and do a little commercial break. We should probably do our own commercial break here. Just random. Guys, if you're interested in going through like niche validation, we're going to actually do an upcoming live workshop. I believe it's on January 28th. So depending on when you're watching or listening to this, we're adding that to our existing training, our workshop, which formerly was called the Etsy Product Magic Workshop. We're now going to be changing that to Niche Product Magic because it makes more sense, because we are going to dive more into the niche discovery, the niche validation, and we're going to do a live training on that. So if you're interested in that, I'll go ahead and just throw this up there. Chris already did it. Thank you so much, sir. You can go to brandcreators.com/magic, and you can register for that live workshop, and you're going to get access to the other workshop, which was really to find those products and build out your own product line. So if you're interested, check that out. We'd love to see you there. All right. So I got to keep moving here. I got one more after this to do, but I got a few more things. So here is that cow blanket that's doing really well. And it's in 20 people's carts right now, 20 plus, by the way. So it's doing really, really well. I'd also, again, look at the tags. I'm looking at this here. I'm looking at cow blanket, cow spot blanket. So that's another little keyword in there. So all of this stuff I'm looking at the tags to get more ideas and also how I can optimize it better. Then moving on, why go after cows? Why not go after giraffes, right? I mean, again, it's that type of print. Maybe there's something here. Well, there is. There's giraffes. And I just did a quick little search on Etsy, looked up giraffe, and down below that, you can see all of the suggested categories or items. We have giraffe crochet, giraffe gift for women, giraffe wall art, giraffe sticker, giraffe gift, giraffe print, giraffe baby shower curtain, and then giraffe mug. So these are just some ideas. Again, this is how we would then find another niche to stack, right? To build on this that still is in line with us creating artistic type of products that have a cow print, that have something to do with giraffes, that have something to do with whatever, fill in the blank. Yeah. So that's really what we're doing here. I also wanted to point this out. You could also, if you see that there's another, a way for you to even get into maybe a little bit of the baby market, because the baby's huge. So in this case, I'd be like, maybe I could throw out some of my cow stuff for some cute baby sayings or some cute baby products, because baby is huge. But I don't want to be in the baby niche, but I can still maybe go after someone that's like, if they're into cow stuff, they're going to want to put some cow stuff on their kid maybe, right? Or giraffe, whatever. So this here, another great seller here. It's 79 monthly sales. It's done 2,232 total sales, been favorited 7,800 times. It's been live for 2 years and 4 months. And it's You Bet Giraffe, I'm Cute Baby. So yeah. So it's a onesie. Actually, that's actually a trademark violation there, by the way.
Well, it might not. I think if you actually use a onesie,
okay,
I think you can, but don't quote me.
I would
on
be very
that.
careful.
It is definitely a trademark, but
well, and you can see they put the trademark thing up where the onesie is. So
yeah. I'm not sure. Do your own homework on that.
Do your own homework on that one. Yeah. But again, just another idea how you can broaden out the product line, but still targeting those people and really staying within your niche. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Actually, guys, I need a little bit of a check-in on the live stream, or if you're on the podcast, even you can nod your head. Are you guys learning from this? Is this helpful? Let us know in the comments, and if so, we'll continue. I just want to make sure. We got one more to do. We're going to try to make this next one quick so we can all get on with our day. But yeah, let us know in the comments. And Chris, is there anything else we needed to address before we move on to the next one?
No, I think we're good to go. We're getting a lot of questions about niches, but I'll answer those in the chat. So let's dive into niche number 3.
All right, cool. All right, so moving on. The third one here is from Marilyn. And basically also Marilyn sells on Amazon. Okay. And now wants to take it on Etsy. So if you are watching this and you sell stuff on another platform and you're not selling it on Etsy, this is a great thing to do. Like, just bring that product over to Etsy. But, and this is going to be a great example of how you might think that you're just selling like one product or one style of product. So maybe you're just like, I just do metal signs. Like, I've seen people they're like, I'm just going to do everything metal signs. I'm going to be a metal sign company, and I'm going to personalize for weddings and baby and, you know, maybe game rooms and all of this stuff. I'm just going to be a personalized metal shop, you know, metal sign business. Okay, that's fine, right? I wouldn't do that. What I want to do is I want to be able to leverage other products now that I can use print on demand, right? And this is exactly what Marilyn can do here. It's a great niche. I think it would work really well. So this is her Etsy shop, and it's basically Musing the Mystical. Okay. Magical tools and gifts for living your best life. Before I go any further, Debbie, what do you think of that banner?
Love it.
Love it.
I
knew
love
you.
It is mystical. I love her holding that ball and the little fairy lights above her head. And I'm not sure exactly what that spray is. You know, I might put something else there, but other than that, I mean, it's not necessary. It's still really nice. So
What I think they're doing here with that is that's the products that they sell.
okay.
Okay. So it's a spray.
Okay.
And honestly, I think it's a great representation of the product, because you could have just put that on a background, a bottle, but you put it in like a crystal with, it looks like some straw, and it really looks good.
I wonder if that's her packaging too. If so, it's
real nice.
It's awesome.
Right. And so again, Marilyn has a great picture of herself in the profile. Beautiful job on that. And then also a really nice logo that is different, right? It's different. It's not on her banner. It's separate. And I like that. I think it's great. So let's look at the announcement real quick. And I think it's going to be good. I haven't read it yet. And I'm not going to read the entire thing, but it basically just starts off. It says, blessings of lunar love and light to you. I am so happy you are here. My shop was born out of my own desire for more connection to self, nature, and the ability to create sacred space wherever I may be. Man,
love it.
Love that.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's beautiful. And then goes on to say, welcome to Musing the Mystical, where you will find magical tools and gifts for living your best life. I handcrafted energy and space clearing sprays and soaps, moon water mists, lunar baths, smudging sprays, lavender dragon mist for clearing negative energy in our brand new to the store, moon water ritual boxes. Charged under specific phases of the moon with Reiki and crystals to elevate and enhance your sense of peacefulness, bring beneficial healing, protective energies, and promote positivity in your being and your space. Each and every item I offer is created with love and intention for the highest good. If you ever have any questions, you can always contact me directly here on Etsy. Bang. Done.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't change a damn thing.
No.
That's great.
No. She welcomed you. She told you what her shop's about. She made you feel like, you know, she was so happy you just rang that bell and came in her shop. Take a look around, and I'm here if you need me.
You know, I said this in our 7-day cha-ching challenge class that we took people through. And I said, listen, I want you to imagine that you have a shop, a physical shop, a brick and mortar. And I want you to imagine you're waiting for a customer to come in, and then you hear that little chime at the door when it rings, right? And then you're like, oh, customer. And then you go in and you're like, hi, how are you? And then you introduce and you get that conversation. That's exactly what you're doing here.
Right.
Right. And so, I mean, this is just perfect. I think it's great.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what this is all about. So now I know exactly who it's for. And if I'm into that, it's for me. Right. So a lot of the sprays, because that's what she sells, and that's it. Right. So we just sell sprays and soaps and things, which is totally fine. Totally fine. But why not get into some of the other stuff? Like, I don't know if moon phase is part of this, but I would go down that direction. And I know if I go back here, let me just go back. If I look at this, I can see that there's moon water, right? There's lunar baths. So it's lunar. There's smudging. There's lavender dragon mist. So there's lavender and there's dragon, right? So I'm seeing all of these things. I'm seeing things that I wasn't aware of, but that you probably can go deeper in as far as other products. So if someone is wanting to be in a calming space, maybe you help them, or maybe they are into creating a sacred space or a space where they'll have better energy. Well, you can create a nice decorative pillow that goes on there that represents on their chair, or maybe it's a blanket, or maybe it's a coaster, any of that stuff. So why not add that stuff to this shop? So like right here, sun catchers, which this is just mind blowing. So again, kind of exclude this one because this thing is crushing. 607 monthly sales, 18,000 in revenue, 12,000 total sales, just crushing, right? Now, if you could create some type of sun catcher that was specifically for your thing, then do it, right? Then I would go after that. Now, is that print on demand? Probably not. Although there might be something out there. But I'm looking at Moonstone Ring. I'm looking at, is that how you say that? Celestial? Shirt moon. Then we have flower moon phase. So that looks like it's a flower moon phase. Then we have a moon calendar, 2023 moon calendar, crescent moon necklace. So all of these numbers, I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but they're all doing over 30 sales a month. And that's over one a day, right? Now there's some that are outliers here. You have that celestial shirt moon phase, 200 sales per month, almost $6,000 in revenue, and total sales is 1,400. And it's been active for 7 months. But that's what I'm saying. I'd go in that direction. I'm not just going to sell a t-shirt. I'm going to sell something in maybe the moon phase, because those people might be interested in my spray. Because the other thing we got to think about is if I get someone into my shop off of another interest, or not even an interest, but another search, Ori, like moon phase, and then they go, oh, what's this misting spray? I'd like to get some of that misting spray, right? It's like, I might not have went into the store wanting misting spray, but I came in because I wanted maybe, I don't know, something that was going to help make my room better, that I was, doing this, right? Or just sitting in, or an energy room, or whatever it is, right? And then I go in there and I'm like, oh, misting spray, I'll take some of that. So it's another way to get people in the store is what I'm saying.
It's an add-on.
Totally. And then I did this one as well. This is flower moon phase wall decor. This is metal art. I know you can get this stuff done. This is selling pretty well. Looks like it's been favorited 13,209 times. And what does that do again, guys? When you get something favorited, it means that it's in demand. All right. 518 total sales. It's been active for 11 months. And let's see, total monthly sales was 44. It did over $4,600. And then I'm just looking at the tags again. I have boho home decor. It possibly could go in that, I guess. Floral moon phase, flower moon phase, moon wall art. So those are, again, just different different searches in different areas and different categories.
Scott, does that say 20,000 under moon phase?
It does, Chris, but I'm not going by that. Yeah, I mean, these numbers are so wonky.
I generally don't see a number that high. So I would be curious, like if we were doing this, kind of behind the scenes, the next thing I'd be doing, if I hadn't done it already, y'all, would be just typing in moon phases into the search to see what products come up, and then doing that to see if that's something I could add, right? Doesn't mean that it'll work, but if you see something that's that big of an outlier, it's usually worth taking the 30 seconds on the flyer to say, hey, let me go over and search the volume.
Well, yeah. And I think that, I mean, because that was my main search to begin with, moon phase. So I knew moon phase was probably going to be okay. But then it's all of these others like floral moon phase. Like I know that that's getting searched for. Flower moon phase, we know it's getting searched for. It's got 20 in the cart, but it's saying it's only gotten 2 searches. So then I'm kind of doing a little bit of common sense study here where I'm like, okay, it's got 20 people having their carts. They're clearly targeting flower moon phase. And here it's telling me it only gets 2 searches a month. So I'm like, I'm not going to go by that. Here's what I will tell you. I know that their sales numbers are way more accurate than any of this stuff. This stuff is still kind of like, I think it's still a process, right? And I think all of them, it doesn't matter. Any of the ones out there, whether it's Marmalade or E-Rank or any of them, the keyword stuff is they're not getting that data from Etsy. They're just not.
Right.
So, but I do the numbers. I did it on my own stuff, and I was only off about 2 sales, which I'm okay with. But I'd even be okay with 10 sales off,
Right.
Because even if this was only 30 sales a month, I'm okay with that, right? But I just want something that's close. These I wouldn't pay as much attention. I'm using these as ideas to kind of give me some ideas. But yeah, that's what I got for that. I think if we just go back here. Love everything about it. And I think here, Moonwater ritual boxes, smudging sprays, like, yeah, I would beef this up with when you get other products in there. I would beef this up with all like moon phase, like I'd have something in there. But all of that stuff. But other than that, everything looks really, really good. And I would just keep building off of that.
Yeah. Huge opportunity here. Huge.
And going into this. Yeah. And it sounds like here's the other thing I want to say. This here, Marilyn is passionate about.
Yes.
100% is passionate about this. You can tell.
Yeah.
Right?
Just by the announcement.
The announcement.
Right.
Right. And that makes a huge difference because when she's thinking through it, she's thinking of herself. She's also thinking this is fun, creating this stuff for people that are going to be able to use it and get a benefit from it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right. So there's something to that. Same thing goes for this one here. I think John is really passionate about creating art type stuff that people would enjoy.
Right.
Right. And the same thing goes if I go back to the very first one, this one right here, I do believe that Tamara is probably somewhat passionate about garden. Now, maybe not as much as the other two, maybe, I don't know. But if you are able to find one that you are passionate about, I believe it's going to help you.
Yeah, it definitely 100%. Reflects in your shop. I believe that.
Totally. Absolutely. I agree. All right. So I think that is it. We did go over our allotted time that we gave ourselves. We got another call here shortly. Chris, any quick questions before we do have to wrap this up? I will say this though, Chris, before you do say that, 2 things. 1, if you are watching this on YouTube, go ahead, smash the like button, leave a comment if you have any questions, even if you're watching this on the replay. If you are watching this on Facebook, you can leave comments there as well. But again, give it some love. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, do us a favor, head over to iTunes and leave us a review over there and let us know what is one big takeaway and what is one thing that you've taken away just from listening to the podcast. I would love to know that as well. Chris, any quick questions? Audio.
One thing we didn't get to one way or another throughout the process today, and I saw the question 2 different ways, was basically like this niche validation stuff is really cool for people who have like a very defined niche, right? And they are creating products. What if I have a fabric store? Can I use that same process, or is there a different way that we would go about doing the niche validation? So that's kind of the open question. Would you still do niche validation the same way if you were like a quilting store, that actually sells fabric versus like a quilting niche store, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I would try to find out who's buying my fabric, right? Because there's going to be some type of person that's probably buying the fabric. And I mean, I'll be totally upfront. If you don't find something like that, it is going to be a harder road because you're going to be all over the place. You're just going to be like, I'm just throwing stuff out there, and I might get one person over here that's, using the fabric for I don't know, reupholstering a couch. And then I have another person over here that's doing curtains, and I have another person over here that's making an outfit for a baby. Like, I don't know, like all of these different things. It's kind of all over the place. I would rather be the material person for fill in the blank. Right. And then maybe you can branch that out. Maybe it's like we were just talking with the cow prints, right? It's like cow, giraffe. It's like maybe you're going to serve certain niches, you know, that are targeting those.
Yeah.
So if I had a store that's selling specifically quilting fabric, is there any reason I shouldn't be digging into the quilting niche? Because we're already in a niche if we're selling quilting fabric versus 100%. Sofa fabric or blind fabric, right? This is how much I know about fabric. So if we're in that niche, is it okay to add on some of the print on demand stuff that people could add to their quilts or buy to say that they love quilting, right? Even quilters might buy a pillow or something else. So if I'm in that kind of a space, is it okay to add those things into my fabric store?
I don't see why not, right? If you're making quilts, I don't know, what is the, I'm not in the quilting world either, but like people want to just do it for being able to create something that they can have as a keepsake for their, you know, their family, right? Well, let's say, for example, that, and let's just say that we are looking at like the baby or, you know, the toddler or whatever, right? And grandma wants to make a quilt, right? Well, you could probably create some accessories that could go with the quilt that's being created. That's why, though, it needs to be, in my opinion, it needs to be targeting something at first, and then you can always add on that stuff. But I think, yes, if you're into quilting, what else, what's the purpose of the quilt? And then what else can I add to that quilt as if it was like they were going to come in and buy it?
Or do you just go after quilters, right? And I'm thinking kitschy stuff around the home. And Deb, I want your opinion on this as well. You know, do you go with like quotes for quilters and make like
that's where I was going. I would probably do a lot of pun things. I read books and I love to quilt, or I quilt, you know what I mean? Anything regarding quilting, because I think with fabrics, it's tough. You're not joining fabrics. You know, people aren't able to feel and touch and see the colors exactly. So if you are a quilter, I personally would try to tap into that market in a funny way. And I'm sure there's a ton of quilting quotes and, you know, kitschy sayings that quilters love. So I'd be putting those on pillows and mugs and t-shirts, like everything that you can.
Yeah, I like that, actually. You see, guys, why we do this, right? We put the three brains together and then we start coming up with stuff, because I was going in one direction, but now that I hear that, I'm like, yeah, that's 100% what we need. So we're talking about the obsessed quilter.
Right.
That's your ideal customer for the fabric anyway.
Yeah.
And so and Debbie, to your point, right, it's hard to buy fabric online, right? Like it just is. You don't know exactly what it looks like. You can't feel it. You don't know the exact weight. Yes, you can look at the specs or whatever. Just turned into 1994 in my house. My landline is ringing.
Who has a landline anymore?
I do. You know, and so if you can bring them in on something kitschy, or, you know, a funny pillow or a saying, and they already get to know you, they read the announcement in the shop, they get a little bit of you into your personality, and they're already a customer. Well, if you guys have been hanging out with us for any period of time, you know that customer then ends up on an email list who we then have access to. And the next time we go, hey, did y'all know we have fabric? They're much more likely to come back and buy some of the fabric stuff, even if they don't want another I love books and quilting pillow.
Right. Right.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, you can almost adapt what we have talked about, like for the gardener lover, right? Like the person that's a gardener, you're like, okay, that person's into gardening. This person's into bass fishing. This person. So you're putting a label. Is there a community for quilters? There is. Good. Okay. Then that means that, and then you're going to get people like, if you know, let's say that your mother was into quilting and we all knew it and we're like, oh, she's quilting again. Right. We're going to buy a gift that makes fun of her being a quilter.
Exactly.
Right? In a funny
and the quilter loves it. She'll be like, yeah, you're right. You got a problem with it?
Gone quilting? Is that what we're...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's
Right.
a lot of fun little ways to make a spin on that. So
Yeah, I
that's
love
what I
it.
would do.
All right, Chris, I think we're good. Someone had just said that this call was complete gold, like
Good.
gold. And I
Go.
love hearing that. So here's what I will say. A couple of different things. Hopefully, number one, it's helped. If it has, give it a little bit of love for us. That would be amazing. But also, if you want to go through more of this that we just went through, but we're going to go deeper because we're going to do a full workshop January 28th, and that is going to be a niche discovery / validation where we're going to be doing more of these for that class. And you can get a ticket by heading over to brandcreators.com/magic. Now, I will say, if you've already went through our Etsy product magic, which is now going to be called niche product magic, you don't have to do anything. You're going to get access to this. So if you're already a student of that class, you're going to get this workshop. You're going to get the invite. You're going to be able to go there live for free. If you have not yet went through that training, you can go through the training, get a ticket, but you're also going to get this training on top of it that we're going to be adding to this training. So if you're at all interested in joining us live or just to go through that training, go to brandcreators.com/magic, and you will be taken to that page where you can grab a ticket and you can go through the workshop, or the workshops, I should say, because we're going to be adding that second one there. But that's it, guys. I think we're done here today. And if you guys want us to do more of these, drop that in the comments as well. Let us know that this was helpful, but then let us know if you want us to do more of these. We need a lot of love in the comments. Let us know, give us that energy back, and we might just do that. We might do more of these. So that's it, guys. That's going to wrap it up. As always, take care, take action, have an awesome, amazing day, and we'll see you right back here on the next session. Take care, guys.
Take care.